held their season-ending media availability on what was a very disappointing year. Toronto finished well out of the playoffs with just 25 wins, 11 games out of the play-in tournament. It was also a season that was full of big trades and riddled with injuries. Joined now by our Raptors reporter, Josh Lewenberg. Scottie Barnes is the face of this franchise, Josh. He took a big step forward before that season-ending hand injury. What's the next step in Scottie's development?
Well, look, like a lot of people, I came into the season thinking there's a good chance this team would struggle, but thinking that the success of this season will be determined not by the record, but by the development of Scottie Barnes coming off of that rough sophomore season. And that became even more true, I would say, after this team decided to trade Siakam and Anunoby and pivot to a rebuild. He's now the face of this team. And if that's the case and that's how you were measuring this team this season, then you have to feel pretty good about the step that he was able to take in year 3, becoming an all-star and really showing signs of superstardom before ultimately going down with that injury. And it's a shame that he couldn't finish out the season, but the silver lining of him sitting out the final 22 games was something that he talked about today. Sitting on the bench and watching and getting a chance to cheer on his teammates allowed him to become a better leader. And to answer your question, I think that's the next step for him. He mentioned specifically the 14-year vet, 37-year-old Garrett Temple, getting a chance to sit next to him, watch games with him, and see what it means to be a leader in this league. If he can take a step in that regard next season, I think that would be huge for this team. And maybe the best news to come out of today is the fact that Scottie's hand, his surgically repaired left hand, is feeling good. It sounds like he could have played in maybe a few games to end the year, but given how little was at stake and obviously how important he is to the team, they decided to play it safe, but he's not going to be limited at all going into a very important offseason, so that's a good sign.
Meanwhile, the team faced unprecedented adversity this season. How was first-year head coach Darko Rajakovic able to steer them through it all?
Well, he had just about everything thrown at him during his rookie season as an NBA head coach. It really was a trial by fire. I mean, he was implicated in an unprecedented lawsuit before even coaching his first game. Then there's the betting scandal at the end of the year and just about everything in between. Injuries, franchise-altering trades, an ever-changing roster, tragic personal loss, injuries. It just kept going on and on and on. But I was impressed with the way that he was able to keep the team together, keep them focused, keep them positive, and ultimately, I really think that resonated with guys in the locker room. They all bought in from a basketball standpoint, but even outside of basketball and the way that they were speaking about their head coach today as a leader, as a teacher, but as a man in the way that he was able to relate to them away from the game, I think that goes a long way as well.
Our Raptors reporter, Josh Lewenberg, thank you. So as the Raptors look ahead to the offseason, today at their season-ending media availability, they did reflect on the season. And it wasn't just about the record and their play on the court, but some of that adversity that we were discussing with Josh, including all the injuries that they dealt with.
I think the most challenging thing for me this season was just, I think it wasn't, I wouldn't say my hand, but I would say it was just with all the trade things that went down. I think that was just probably the hardest to just get through it and manage my emotions through it.
And when we got back from All-Star break, won 3 in a row, we were feeling pretty good, and then dominoes just fell. Injury. Obviously some personal stuff that no, you can't discount. You know, guys having to be away from the team. And then it was a tough stretch there. But, you know, I think when we had, you know, our guys in the lineup and we played well together, we were tough, scored the basketball. So just looking forward to getting a full team back and healthy.
The only thing that's been frustrating, you know, watching us lose and not being able to be out there on the floor with the guys to try to help us win. But, you know, I don't take it for granted. You know, I just can't wait to get back on the floor and play my heart out.
Meanwhile, Olynyk had some fun when he was asked about what he learned about Scottie Barnes this year.
I mean, yeah, I learned he has fragile hands. But I'm just kidding. Yeah, that's going to be a quote now for sure.
Yeah, we bid it. We used it here on SportsCentre. Here's a look at the NBA draft lottery odds. The Raptors have the sixth best chance to get the first overall pick at 9%. The last time they selected first overall was in 2006 when they took Andrea Bargnani. The Pistons and Wizards share the best odds at 14%. Detroit picked first overall in 2021 when they took Cade Cunningham. And Washington's last first overall selection was John Wall in 2010. The draft lottery will be held on May 12th.